Hello, 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 and welcome to something a little bit different than what you normally see here on the channel. We're doing a little bit of a tech talk. We've got the panel here. We're going to be chatting a little bit about the technical aspects, the construction, the development of TRCMA. What is TRCMA? It's the Rag Company Media Access Show. And this would be our third show, would it not?
Yes, this is the third annual, Dane.
That's right.
Number 3. Annual.
So this is the way it's working now. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and defer to Gabe here because, well, he knows a thing or two about running the show. It's kind of his baby.
Yeah. So year 3, right, guys?
Yeah.
We came up with the show in 2020 when COVID hit. I think it was around SEMA on that time, right, guys?
It was before SEMA, actually.
And SEMA was going virtual.
Well, yeah. So what happened was SEMA was planning on going virtual. They had just sent out their messages to everybody, all the brands and companies, and said, hey, we're going to be doing this virtual thing. I watched our friends at Autolack-Offen in Germany created DCon, which was their virtual detailing trade show. And I remember Lars from Color Lock calling me and saying, you got to watch DCon. We were just on it. It's super cool. I think it's something that the Rag Company could easily do if you watched it and checked it out. And I remember I watched that show. I put it on the TVs for everybody, and I said, I think we could do this.
Yeah.
We were already virtually bringing people in.
We'd done live stuff before, but just not to this extent.
Yeah. And so basically everybody sat down and we watched it and we thought, how can we build this into something spectacular or something for us?
Yeah.
And that's how it kicked off. And so we started planning, and needless to say, the first year we didn't have a lot of time to build it, because I believe it was probably August, September when we started the idea, and we had to get it going by November.
Yeah.
And so we were ready to launch the week after SEMA because we thought, well, let's see what happens. And thankfully, it all worked out. People decided to fly in. Those that couldn't see it, we were able to virtually broadcast them. And that was super cool, and we hope everybody really enjoyed it. And then, of course, last year was awesome because we had so many people actually here in the studio.
Yeah.
We're expecting that again this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It definitely seems like every year the show gets bigger and bigger. People are wanting really to be a part of it. I think the hardest part, but it's kind of the funnest, is just the outreach. Reaching out to everybody and making sure that it all fits on their calendars. And there was that one year, I think it was the second year of TRCMA, where we ended up delaying till the end of March.
That's when we actually changed the entire season the show happens in, Yeah,
and we did that because we wanted to, we found that it was such a success that we wanted to have an annual show, same time every year.
Yeah, and actually give it the time to plan.
Yeah.
You know, previously we barely had, realistically, 2-3 months tops to plan this show, and we pulled it off. But to be able to give you guys a better experience, a better show, we wanted to give us at least a year, if not more, to be able to build the proper show for everybody to watch.
It also had the added benefit of getting moved from the end of the detailing season to now moving to the beginning of the detailing season. It's true, at least for the places that have seasons. I know if you're in some place where it's just sunny all the time, you don't really notice it, but for those of us a little further north, it's a little harder to do during the winter. So,
So I guess the question, right, that people asked, and I got to be on Jamie the Cleaner's podcast show last Friday, was what are we doing differently this year to elevate the show? So, which is why we came up with this idea of doing the Tech Talk. With that, you know, in the past years, we had a lot of really cool intros. I think the first year we had a lot of cinematic of the guys rolling into work. And last year we did the hunt for Jack's treasure, right? As we introduced Starnaglass into the line of the Rag Company. And what we did was a lot of that, I want to kind of throw it over to the right of me, to Jimmy Wilkie. A lot of the cool stuff that we were able to do was in part with Jimmy. The first year, it was just literally running and gunning. It was kind of shooting at the hip, seeing what sticks. Yeah. But I wanted to throw it to Jimmy because a lot of the shots, and even if you guys watch Satisfying Saturdays, Launch Wednesdays, a lot of the cinematic shots are from this guy right here. So tell us a little bit about, I guess, how the heck you got so freaking good at what you're doing. And yeah.
Yeah. What has it been? 4 years now? 4.5 years?
Yeah, it's been a
here?
minute.
Yeah, so it's been a minute working here. Started doing video stuff when I was 16, 17. So just been doing it for a long time, and always looked up to like Crispy Media, Halcyon, those type of guys.
It shows.
Yeah, good guys. And so just started learning from them, emulating what they did, and then now kind of applying it to what we do with cinematics of car detailing, and then also our trailers and all that stuff. So it works out. It's kind of a weird mix because I was going from originally just filming only cars to now filming people and cars. So
it does get a little weird when you throw the human dynamic in there.
It definitely gets a little bit interesting, but I think we figured out a way to make it work, and it's been good so far. So
you're killing it.
I think it's really added to the show just in general when people ask, holy cow, you guys are really up in your game. And a lot of that, I mean, it's from everybody in this room, everybody behind camera, our entire team. But I know that Jimmy has constantly pushed himself, and we always asked him to get the weirdest shots sometimes. And he does it. And he does it really, really well. But then to compliment Jimmy, on the left of me, we've got Glenn Shore. And one of the things that we focused on this year's show was not so much the intros of the videos, but instead we wanted to tie things together by working and finessing the actual live itself. So Glenn, tell us what you did this year for TRCMA.
Yeah, so this year Gabe approached me, it was like in December, being like, hey, you need to work on TRCMA. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? And he's like, yes. So I have been tirelessly putting together a bunch of graphics for you guys. Everything that you see on screen, the comments, the bug, the intros, the even just the waiting screens. I've been really working hard to give you guys something that's really cool, really like 80s Back to the Future themed, and I think you all are going to really enjoy it. There's also someone who's missing from this couch that I do want to embarrass here really quickly. And if the stream suddenly ends, just know I did my job. So Nick, he's behind the scenes right now, and he's really the guy who he makes sure that you guys get exactly what you see on TRCMA, which is awesome. And he does it so amazingly. Like, people say that things that you don't understand, like, you think they're magic. And I mean, I've tried to understand as much as I can from him, and I still think it's magic. Like, it's so impressive. So I definitely want to shout him out. But if you guys have any questions as far as like at least how the streams work, I can try my best to answer those questions. And if you want to know anything about the comments or the graphics or anything, feel free to throw those my way.
Yeah, so I think part of the broader thing today is obviously we're not detailing any cars. This is not going to be like some crazy, fast-paced, exciting thing. It's really an opportunity to, get to know each other and actually get to know like the program, all the details behind the scenes, and the folks who are actually responsible for making it. So if you guys have questions, I encourage you to bring them all out right now, which I do have a couple here. I'll start with David Cervantes, popping them up there, saying, whose actual brainchild was it? Because this was a huge hit in the detailing community.
I would say this was a culmination.
I will
of
say
everybody.
this is Lars from Color Lock, because he's the one that called me and said, "You guys, I think you could do something like this."
Lars,
Honestly, that's the start, because he planted the bug.
Yeah,
and if he hadn't have told us about it, we probably could have come up with something like that. But I don't think we wouldn't have seen Autolac Offen's first decon, virtual decon.
Sure.
Because we used that as a template where we said, oh my gosh, we can create videos, we can have people commenting, we can create these live broadcast interview style, we can beam people in. But it was that first little spark.
When
but it also meant we had this building.
Yeah, so we had the building, and Levi's right. Lars sparked it, but I was also going to say, as far as here at TRC, it was everybody.
Yeah.
The equipment, all new. We didn't even have our audio, or like you see these earpieces we're wearing, so we can hear control room or hear each other. So if Dane's in the podcast, or we can hear whoever. But the thing is none of that was connected, and we were still learning the system. So that first year, it was rough. And I remember the microphones that we used were not that great. So if you guys go back and you listen to the lives, even back then, and you listen to lives as we progress, you've noticed that the audio has gotten better, maybe less technical difficulties. They still happen, but overall, it was a scramble.
But it
for
was
the first
it was the
TRCMA.
fact that we knew we had the bones to do something. It was also a test of what we had to make sure we could actually do it. And Nick was a big part of going, yeah, I can make that happen. Yeah, we could probably do that. Yeah, we could probably make that work. Now, you're right, it was a scramble. And we were working with bare bones equipment. We were working with everything that we had because we had just finished building the studio. And we were doing what we could to get by. But once that episode finished, that first one was done, it proved to the owners, Jeff and Carolyn, that we had something that was viable. We had something that we could do. It showed our skill set as a company with our employees and what each person could do within the company. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, we can put a value, we can put some money into this. We can actually pay for better equipment. We can upgrade some things. And we now have a media that we can actually use more so, because when Dane and I mean even Gabe was one of the first in the company doing the very first videos with Dane. The very first Dane Explains was literally Gabe and Dane doing them in the warehouse at the old building. And then the very first question out of Jeff's mouth was, well, can we do more of those? And they were like, well, yeah, but we just don't want to do a warehouse, so let's borrow a detail shop. And they called me, and Gabe brought students, his high school students, to come over and handle cameras and stuff. So we've always started very bare bones with a lot of stuff. And then as it's proven itself out, we've been able to build it into something better and greater. And that's something that we constantly do, is innovate in not only our videography, our live broadcasts, our graphics, bringing Glenn in, bringing Jimmy in, bringing Sebastian, who's standing here behind the camera, bringing Nick, bringing Gabe. I mean, we've brought Anthony Blaine. I mean, we have elevated our media to what it is today. Could it be better? It can always be better.
It can always be better.
But what we do is unique in that we can create content for all of our companies, all the brands we support, and be able to give you guys that first look, that first idea of what these things can do and what they're capable of. And that's something we're super blessed with. You know, the Q&A Thursday started with you, me, and Anthony standing by the dumpsters.
I pushed hard for that after I figured out that we were actually doing decently with the podcast. I was like, we should do something where it's actually detailing focused and we just answer people's questions, because you guys have so much knowledge and there's just so much experience, and a way to share that's like in a super focused format. And Q&As are not a new thing, but I think the way we do it, it's unique, because if you look at the general online landscape, like amongst other YouTube channels, other companies, this is not to put anybody down, but I don't see anybody doing it with the frequency that we do. We do one every single Thursday, unless we're out on like a trip or something, and even then we sometimes do them while we're on those trips. So I think we are, at least if not the top, we're in the top of the most consistent in the game when it comes to that form of customer service, the Q&A opportunity. And it doesn't matter if people have questions about like general stuff, even things we don't sell. If you have expertise in it, you can still share your take on it, and people appreciate it.
And going off the Q&A, TRCMA is an opportunity for us to bring all of our vendor partners in, so that way you guys can ask those guys right out of the gate. I mean, how much opportunity do you have technically, even with other companies, to ask the questions, hey, blah, 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 about this product, and then have the company representatives answer those questions. I think a big part of that, it's a big attribution to Levi, Anthony, Dane for building the relationships, because I know what they talk to you guys about all the time is, this is something that we believe in, or a product that we believe in. So now bringing in those companies, we want them to actually explain it to you too. So it all stems from the facet of Q&A also when
Correct,
you think
yeah.
about it, because it's just, we want you
Well,
guys.
if we hadn't been doing the Q&A,
Yeah.
we probably wouldn't have had the I don't know, technical skills or the
the
ability to
experience.
create something like
Yeah.
this.
Well, remember when we
You know.
started the Q&A, I was using a cell phone.
Yeah, I know. And we were
They'd
standing by
mount
some
it up on
dumpsters
a,
on a
on
Thursday
top of
afternoon.
Yeah, TV
Forgot
screen
about
or
that,
something.
yeah.
Called it
That
dumpster
was it.
hangs.
Yeah.
The quality's improved since then, but I like to think that the quality of the content
Spirit's
itself,
the same.
the actual spirit has remained the same the whole way through.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we keep it fun, but we also make sure we answer questions. And the same thing extends to TRCMA. We just happen to have guests during that part. So it kind of expands on it. And we try and rope everybody into the whole fun atmosphere we got going here.
But I will say this year we are trying to do a lot more different stuff and really flex our muscles in what we can and can't do as a company. And so we created that large, Alex Dewar says he's looking forward to Seabass's whiteboard pop-ins.
He's running to get it right now.
One of the biggest things is
That's
like,
cute.
we created our we realized we can do cinematics.
Yeah.
Not too shabby in what we do with the last two openers. So this time we said, how can we do that differently
Yeah.
and utilize some of the skills that Glenn has and Seabass have in their editing ability and their special effects.
Well,
Right.
And that was a totally unique and completely different thing. You guys have watched the PNS off-road video with the side-by-side that drops in the white room at the end. That was all 100% created by Glenn.
3D model by
She
her.
did that whole
I've been
3D
taught.
modeling herself and
Yeah.
built that whole thing. And it took her about 40 hours or 200 hours or something.
Because you're learning
like
the
that.
It was a
program.
month.
well,
It was insane, but she showed us that she has that capability,
Yes.
and it was almost an achievement that we unlocked with you, where we were like, "Oh, we can do some
Yeah.
stuff."
You know, I
Well,
could've-
the other-
I could've had a
you
decent
know,
life.
The other thing too is last year to this year's TRCMA, the big thing that's changed for everybody in this room is having new software. Where
That too.
We were, I mean, Adobe was our powerhouse for producing content. But then in the most recent months, actually just shortly after TRCMA 2022, we switched to DaVinci Resolve, which then gave Glenn a lot of power to do the things that she wanted to do. And then
and new machines.
yeah, and
Yeah.
in machines.
Yep.
And the other thing too, I remember when we made that switch, Jimmy was really worried because he was
Yeah, I
worried.
was self-taught on Premiere Pro, and so going from being self-taught on something, you know, you learn kind of your own way of learning. There we go. And so when you go from that to switching over to DaVinci, DaVinci seems like such a scary, like more scary beast, you know. And once I actually got into it, it wasn't as bad as you would think. It's a lot more
Typical
streamlined.
Seabass. Perfect.
And the way everything works, it's complicated when you look at it. The best way I can describe it is kind of like what I'm doing right now, like learning how to build engines and stuff. When you look at it, it seems a lot more complicated, but then when you start breaking it down into little sections, it gets a lot easier. So if anybody's watching that's into video production or anything, I would highly suggest using DaVinci. Your color grading is going to be better, your workflow is going to be better. And Adobe, honestly, you get charged monthly, and it stacks up over the years, and you don't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
not
so
fun.
I got rid of all my Adobe subscriptions. I just use DaVinci now, and it's worked out for me so far. I've had great success with it. So yeah,
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, new stuff every year. I think that's a lot of behind the scenes. There's been a lot of new things that we as a team have been experiencing. They're all really positive, but we've gone through some learning curves, and then we've unlocked some advancement in our skills and our ability to produce things. And then the other facet of TRCMA that I think has been a progression too was when I came back to TRCMA, or to TRC, if you will. I remember I threw out the idea of, hey, let's add a little bit of script and stuff. And I know
Yeah.
these guys were always leery of that because they wanted to be them true. They want to be their true selves.
Yeah,
As
we're
soon
worried
as
about
you-
losing our voice.
Yeah, as soon as you bring in a script,
They're
it
like,
feels like, oh no, our
"Oh my
authenticity
gosh."
is gone.
Yep.
Someone else is writing what I'm going to say. It doesn't feel authentic anymore.
But then I think the person that really kind of allowed us to turn the corner in that was AB, because Anthony Blaine, he does a really good job creating a script where your voices aren't drowned,
No, he created our voices.
Yeah.
Because he
Which is
spent so much time
I remember
listening to
that,
us.
Emphasize
but I
that.
remember reading that very first script we did for Jack's thing, and I was like, this is all stuff I would say. This is all stuff we would joke about. Like,
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how did you? And he just said, I listened. And I said, oh,
Yeah.
that's from the 13th Warrior.
With the power
I
of
know that-
AI.
I know that line.
Yeah. So AB, he's really, and he's not here today, but he's really contributed to that. I mean, especially you saw it last year in the intros, and even this year, even though the intros for each day are a little bit shorter, man, he really added to that and made it really fun.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings me to the next point.
Yeah.
Back to the Future?
Yeah.
That's the theme.
I have seen too much Back to the Future.
You're all
Well,
set.
Glenn's living it.
Well, what's
every
funny
day.
is you guys, a few of you had never seen it before, so you literally had a screening here in the
Yeah, we
studio
had to-
one
we had
day.
to-
These
Yeah,
two
watch
had
it.
never seen Back to the
I
Future.
have seen it.
I had.
Okay.
I'll admit it. I had.
Jimmy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just not a movie that I grew up watching.
wasn't on your
I kind
radar.
of missed I missed the boat on it, but it was cool to watch it and get like an understanding for the vibe of the movie, and then also like the color and stuff, which was really important for all the stuff you'll see eventually during TRCMA, all the bumpers. The color is what matters to capture that vibe, you know, and then along with her graphics, it all fits together really well, and I think people will enjoy it.
Well, what I love is I'll walk over and watch you guys work, and it is funny to see that they'll literally have on one screen a clip from one of the movies.
Yeah. Yep.
Just to get the colors that are being used.
Yep.
Yeah.
And using and getting and pulling those colors
Yeah.
to make sure you're
And-
getting that same idea and feel. And that I'm like, God damn, these kids are smart.
Well, no, I want, after that, I want Jimmy to explain.
Shot deck.
Yes. So explain to them how you got the colors from our footage to match the footage of Back to the Future.
Yeah, so there's a website called Shot Deck. It's a really cool tool. Basically, it's a subscription service, but you know, if you're not using Adobe anymore, you can subscribe to other things. So
Yeah, save your money.
so what you can do is really cool in DaVinci. They've actually got a color match tool. So it's not perfect. You definitely still have to know how to color grade, but you can take a photo from Shot Deck, which is a high-res photo that they have from the movie that they've gone through and done all the copyright stuff for you and all that. So you can pull that directly, import it into a project, and then actually put your footage side by side, match it somewhat, and then you've got to tweak it to get it to that perfect movie look. But it's a great tool if anybody out there is trying to learn how to color grade or sees a movie. Like, for example, I'm a big fan of the new Batman. Like, I love the colors in that. So if you really like something like that and you want to get that vibe, you could use Shot Deck to get that. So it's cool.
So
That
again,
is cool.
it's adding, it's just all these tools in our arsenal
And it's the
to
time.
help us.
You got to think about the time that, like, when we're preparing this.
Yeah.
Yes, it's it's writing emails, calling every company, and asking if they want to be here and doing stuff. But it's the actual hours behind it where these guys are building all those things, because we make a list and we go, hey, these 4 days we need this, 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 and this. And they may seem simple and easy, but they are not simple and easy, and they take a ton of time to build, to create, because otherwise we'd just be using stock things on the program that are just there, and it'd make it very generic. So when we create these themes or this feel, there's a lot of work that has to go in, and that's the neat thing about these guys and what they do is they're able to take that and go, okay, we can make that happen. We can make that work, and that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and to Edmund Iverson's point here, since the release of the theme, I see Back to the Future merge in essentially every store I've shopped at. Over the last, since we decided the theme, like was it a year ago?
Yeah, and we even, there was at one point
I feel
where
like
we're
we've just seen Back to the Future stuff everywhere since then.
Yeah.
that's been a thing, and it's kind of funny because we even at one point were trying to decide if this was going to be the for sure theme.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the right thing to do.
Keep seeing signs.
But we stuck with it, and next week you guys are going to see some cool stuff. You're going to see the rides, not the Back to the Future rides, but
we got as close as we could here in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
As close as we can.
I think
We're
it's
gonna
pretty
see some
impressive
cars
for what we had to
for,
work with.
yeah, for what we've had to do, we were able to get all the things that we need for it to work, and that's been the most exciting thing, because again, the goal is we want to produce the coolest show for you guys possible, Yeah, and that's our goal.
Yeah.
And Levi and I, in the last few months, have been working, I think since August when I sent the initial email, literally sent out this mass email to everybody saying, hey, here's the dates, let's get ready to roll. And then from there, it was working with Nick, Levi, and myself trying to iron out where everybody goes. Because the big thing about the show that you guys see is you go through the week, you're like, oh, I'm excited. Today is so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, and tomorrow so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. But the hard thing is trying to lay out that map of where everyone lies for that week.
Yeah, trying to get the logistics especially for people that are out of the country is insane. I mean, like the amount of planning and time that it has to go into, it's equally as hard as the trips that Levi goes through and plans for us. It's like logistics for all that stuff
there is a ton of that, and there's a lot of deadlines that have to be hit and met. And honestly, we only had 3 companies out of our entire group that they couldn't make it work this year. And it wasn't our fault, but it was just they as a company couldn't make the choice to come out or make the ability to come out. But that's pretty dang good out of almost 25 brands to go, hey, sorry, we'd love to be able to make it, it's just not going to coincide with us. But to have that many brands coming that are going, yeah, we're coming, we're going to do this, we're going to make it a part of this, that's
make
huge.
it a destination.
But then on top of that, you got 2-3 people of each one of those, so you got 40 something people to manage. It gets pretty crazy. So we're real excited to have everybody.
You'll see next week, each day is curated. We did it in a way so that you're not watching one day and it's just pure polishing, or one day or it's just wrapping tools and that's it. We tried to spread the wealth out throughout the day so you guys get a good feel of a variety each day. It's going to be really fun, and we've got some new companies this year that we didn't have in the previous years. I'm excited, and we're all behind camera, but even us behind camera, we're excited because we just get so infatuated on what's happening, and Nick's like, hey, you guys, focus here.
You're watching the show.
I'm like, oh shoot, I'm sorry, I was watching the show.
Gabe, you bring up a great point. We have so many companies, like so many different types of companies. Like we have marine products, we have polishers, like we're gonna be bringing in like wrappers and all that, not those kinds. But it's such a technical nightmare essentially to figure out, okay, how are we going to get everyone doing their thing in different spots in a way that you guys will notice at least the least amount of transition. And that's the really cool part, is because like every time you see we're doing something in the white room and then it cuts back to Dane in the podcast studio and then bam, we're out washing a car in the wash bay. Like there's so much going on behind that, and it's a really awesome experience getting to do that for you guys and make it look as seamless as possible. Because I mean, as the effects person, like I love being seamless and it's really cool that we're able to take all of these different topics and put them together into one show for you guys.
Well, and it's not like we're a theater company, so we kind of learned to do this stuff on the fly, or from previous experience, if we have worked in like those fields and stuff before, got a little taste of it and then figured out how to apply it here. But it's kind of the cool part about being at TRC is all our skill sets, while they seem very wide variety, don't seem like you'll ever use that skill again. Maybe you had an odd job years ago and then you're like, oh, I know how to do that. And then next thing you know, you become the guy for that. It's pretty fun.
Well,
I've got a few questions here.
Bring them up, Dave.
They can pop up. I like this one. David Cervantes, first of all, popping up. What was the biggest sudden issue that you had to fix during the show, and who was the culprit?
Audio.
So it may not have been a person, it may have been a thing.
It was for sure audio.
It was not having the antenna.
I said, so there was 2 issues that we ran into. For the first year when they were building the building, we didn't get the highest quality wireless microphones and talkback systems. And the 2 issues that we ran into was we had a lot of feedback. Audio was kind of and then certain parts of the studio you couldn't hear on the talkback.
Yeah, it was almost
system.
like these, like there were fields that were
Dead
like
zones.
walls
Yeah.
that were built.
Yeah.
Even though this is a big open box, it was very strange to go, why can't I hear anybody when I stand over here?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
step by that back door.
Yeah, and it
gone.
just
So-
it fell off. So
So we got a new system, new Sennheiser mics, and then what we did was in our Raptors and stuff, we ran antennas. So we have, I think, 2, maybe 3 antennas spread out across, so that way we can hear each other clearly, and it's done the biggest trick. I tell you what, it's kind of funny talking audio. My wife listens or watches trash TV like The Bachelor. Sorry if you're a fan of The Bachelor.
That
I
was
know.
classier than some of the other ones.
I
we
know,
watched,
that's
so.
my
Yeah, I
opinion.
was gonna say.
But,
Some of us are
but
Love Island fans.
I
Yeah.
guess it's a Love Island. I'm just not into it.
Gosh, I'm surprised
But
you're not wearing your Vessies.
oh god.
Oh,
But they were doing a live stream last
Right.
Monday, and in front of millions of viewers, audio just nothing.
yeah, just dropped.
Just dropped.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy cow. And I even texted Dane that night and said, see, we're not the only ones who has audio.
Yeah, you think of
It's
millions of dollars,
surprising.
and it was like
when it happens at
yeah,
that level.
it's millions of dollars into that. And
Oh,
then I
yeah.
started watching. We watched Goodwood last year.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Festival of
same thing.
Speed. We had it playing here on our
Love it.
TVs, and they paid so much money. It was a full live broadcast. They were using the same program we were using. They were doing the same kind of cuts and transitions that we have done.
Yep.
And we were watching that, and same thing. Their audio was atrocious.
Yeah.
And they get mics on top of mics from different areas. They didn't cut. And
And
it
they
was
have the challenge of being outdoors,
They were
in an
outdoors.
environment with a lot of noise and stuff. so
Yeah,
I can
they-
understand the difficulties
They had a
that
lot
come
more
with that.
variables, and they're mobile.
But still,
they're
Yeah.
all variables that still happen, and so it's something neat to
It's-
see that when there are bigger companies or bigger production houses or production groups that are doing this stuff,
I mean, I
they're
feel
still
for
running
them.
into
It's
the
not,
same. Yeah, right.
But the big thing is it's never. Oftentimes, I would say 85 to 90% of the times, it's technical.
Yeah, it's not a
so
person's
much
fault.
per individual.
yeah.
But
you usually
that-
can't pinpoint.
That's one that we've had to overcome.
Tony.
Oh, Tony,
Hey,
suck up. All right, I got a few other questions
Quick
here.
question: who is the best and why is it clear?
Nice.
that's a very good question.
All right, so we got Dino here. Dino saying, hello, guys and girls. Did you guys invest in some more audio equipment? Last time there were glitches. I know how hard it is. I was a wedding videographer and trying to mic up a bride and groom and have good audio, or had good audio. It was terrible.
Well-
okay, so was it good or was it terrible?
We
We did upgrade.
We
Yeah,
did
we
upgrade
did.
audio. I think the other facet, I would say, with the audio issue is just making sure we have plenty of time
Yeah.
before the live to test that audio, because oftentimes there's sometimes that we are terrible at it.
Yeah.
And-
But also, the biggest ghost that we had in this building was our electricity.
Random
Oh, yeah.
electrical
And
surges.
we didn't know that. So this building got completely skinned down to the bare metal itself and then completely rebuilt and all new wire and everything. But what was the problem was the electrical coming into the building
Yeah, it wasn't even the building
was
at that point. It
house.
was dirty
out there.
and bad.
Yeah.
And so we come in, our electrician builds everything that we need, everything's done the way it needs to. But the one biggest problem we had was that bad electrical that would
Yeah.
just randomly spike or randomly
Drop out.
I mean, it was one of those things that we didn't think about because this building was built in the 50s and that main wiring was coming in was from
Yeah.
the 50s. And so from our main power pole outside, it was like, we got to get that fixed because we brought our electrician in so many times to fix these problems.
Finally, we
And
had to.
finally
call
we
the power
learned through the power
and
company that it
completely
was like-
disconnect and
Yeah.
reconnect. I guess my only question to
But it
Dean-
was something that we kept to try fixing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was another issue behind it. So that's all.
I guess my only question, aside from Dino's question, was when the last time we had that. I know that I think it was the last live, maybe 1 or 2 lives ago. Audio was a little muffled at the beginning, again, because we didn't get the audio
Sure.
check like we wanted. But we haven't had too too many issues in
Yeah.
the recent.
No, just with time and
jobs.
experience, that's the best thing you can do is just build on your prior experiences and learn lessons from the past and keep working to improve each time.
Yeah.
You're never going to get it 100% right, but you can get awfully close. And when some freak gets it happens, I think just as a viewer, if you can kind of be charitable and go, okay, they didn't do this on purpose.
Yeah.
So just understanding
But
that
the
sometimes
feedback,
things happen.
the feedback, like if someone comments and
Yeah,
says,
but if
"Hey,"
somebody mentions it, it helps us because we don't want to
Yeah.
drag
Yeah.
on with like
Yeah.
an audio issue
We-
for longer than is necessary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
you
wanna
definitely want that.
fix it right away.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing is that like wedding photography. When you're doing a wedding, you kind of know who you're going to mic up, and like there's really only two people talking. We have a lot of people talking, and it's a lot of different people too. So I mean, like, say if someone's presenting, the other presenter is just sitting quietly in the corner. It's actually Nick behind the scenes, like turning on and off each individual mic. So if you can hear someone, thank Nick. So,
Speaking of which,
yeah.
today is essentially a test to hear a bunch of different voices
Yes.
next to each other. So that's
Yes.
also, if you're wondering, one of the reasons why we do this, just being totally transparent. Because a lot of these tests we'll do these live videos during the year leading up to TRCMA, and it's always just kind of getting warmed up again, getting used to the way this stuff works on a smaller scale before the big week where we have to make it work on the fly as
Yeah.
good as possible for 4 or 5 straight
Yeah.
days. And
Or-
it is a
Yeah.
wild beast to deal with.
The other thing most people don't realize is our equipment, like our bigger machines, our server closet, all of our stuff.
Yeah.
It's also a stress test for them because of the fact that last year we literally had one of our main computers that runs the entire program. Like that's its only job. Literally melted.
Yeah, we like just
A
about
week
set it on
before the
fire.
show.
No,
It was
actually-
working so hard.
Actually, that was 20. Yeah, so we had two things. So we had that. It was the deck
Yeah.
that has all of the camera inputs. The deck burnt out, and then we had all of the Black Magic, these boxes that convert the cabling. I won't go into depth, but they basically convert the cabling from an SDI to HDMI for the cameras. We had several of those burn out as well.
Yeah.
So we had to buy a new deck. Well, actually, we had to buy 2 new decks, and we bought a crap ton of those converters just in case. Because I remember the first year, Jimmy had he had the chest mount with the Steadicam,
Yeah.
and he got shocked, and it actually burnt out one of those.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
He was like, ah.
Yeah.
And we're like, what, Jimmy, what's going on? Ah, I'm getting shocked.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, constantly getting shocked. I had a crane system on. It was basically like this like robotic arm that sticks out with a what's that called?
It's like a scorpion mount or something.
Yeah, but what's
Just
the
a Steadicam.
the end part?
The gimbal.
No, not the gimbal. I forget what they call
like
it.
a bearing.
The weight.
The pole
Stick.
with the it's
Call it
like the
stick.
balancing stick. You see
Counterweight.
Counterweight, there you go.
Yeah, counterweight. Yeah, but that anytime it would hit me, it would immediately shock me. I don't know what the connection was between it.
Was it
but-
because you're like roll stepping and shuffling your feet on this floor? Because I feel
Probably.
like this
Probably.
building
Yeah.
really does build up
Yeah.
static like crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we're hoping for some lightning this year, at the very least.
I
no.
wouldn't say that.
I know the
terrible.
theme is Back to
Yeah.
the Future, but
Yeah, next
Yeah.
question.
But the biggest thing
Yeah.
is just that there's a lot of unforeseen things that can happen. And
Yep.
so us doing these lives not only is one to provide content for you, but it's also stress testing a lot of the systems, cameras, cabling, our mics,
Dino?
our lights, all of our stuff, just to make
Absolutely.
sure that everything's always in working order. And then also the ability to be able to come up with ideas and solutions where we didn't know we needed a backup deck.
Dino, if you want
We
to
had
be
to
the
get one.
guy sending me an email, send me an email today. I'll give you my cell phone and you can text me. That's
you
not
go.
even a joke.
It's a horrible.
Bear in
idea.
mind the rates
You don't
will
want
apply
his
because
cell phone.
Dino's in Austria.
Oh,
So
man.
just
Okay.
throwing that out there.
Just billing
What he
the
was
Gabe.
trying to say earlier
Gabe
though,
at
was that
theradcompany.com.
good audio is very difficult to get. So yes, I would say good audio is tougher than good video in a
Yeah.
lot of cases. You can have good baseline video. It may not be cinematically like amazing, but it gets the job done. It's functional. It shows what you need to show. But audio, man, you notice audio more than you notice quality in video.
Audio is half the
realistically.
video.
Like if you see a YouTube video and let's say the video quality is like subpar, like it's like 480p or something, And it's just like, I can see what's going on, but the audio is like a lot more crisp and clear. You notice that. You
Yeah.
appreciate that. And you would rather watch that than a good-looking video that happens to have just garbage like 56K audio or something.
Anthony shoots everything in JPEG.
Yeah,
and
no,
literally.
he always says,
because his
I throw
audio
that
is
thing in
good, he
auto
gets
and go.
views, so.
Okay, I've got a few other ones
All right,
here.
what do we got?
We've got, here's a good one. David asking, do you hire people to fill in the gaps to ease the stress during
Yes.
TRCMA?
Yes.
That's a good one to touch on.
We hire on average the first TRCMA we had a whole crew, like almost too many people because of my students. But 4 is the average. This year joining our crew will be Jake, Rusty, Aaron, and Kira. They'll be joining the crew this year. And
Kira's, this is her 3rd year. Jake,
she's been doing it for a
2nd
while.
year.
Yeah, Kira's been here every year from the very beginning, and Kira's job is pretty important. She is going to be handing out mics and miking and putting the talkback systems on each person before they come out, and then also help me get everybody into their places when they need to be.
Yeah.
And Jake, you guys probably heard in the Absolute video, that's his lovely voice.
Yeah.
Telling you don't drink
And
Absolute.
PNS off-road.
And the PNS off-road.
Jake is
Go if I can get dirty.
phenomenal when it comes to voiceover.
And Valentine's Day.
And the Valentine's Day. We
That's
use them a
it.
lot
Use
for
everything.
stuff. So
If you need
point
a
is,
deep voice, you
we do
just
have some
defer to
friends
him.
that we do hire that have been in a lot of other TRC videos and promos and things like that we use.
Yep.
David has
but we
another
do get
good
them on
point
hand.
here. So going off of Jimmy getting shocked, what safety items or procedures have you had to change or implement to make this as safe and smooth as possible?
We fixed the electrical, so there should be no more shocking. But
Unless Nick gets back out in the studio.
yeah.
And then there might be a little bit.
But the big things that we do is we heavily, what you guys don't see is this week in general, we walk through the show over and over and over again. So the key thing is, how can we give you guys not just a variety in presentations, but how can we give you a variety within the studio, right? It would be kind of, I guess it wouldn't be terrible, but we want to give you a variety of where we place people within the studio. So making sure that our cameras are placed in a way where we can do a nice, smooth transition is key. So we place cameras strategically. We tape things down.
Yeah.
We just really do our best to make sure that everything is where it needs to be.
Yeah, and the people know where the tripping hazards are, where they're not,
Yeah.
and so that we don't have
And
camera
then
folks
I'm
tripping
looking out
and
here. There are a
falling.
lot of trip hazards right
Yeah,
there.
well, that's because we did it for the live. We're not taping everything
I've
down
run
for this
into at
one, but we
least 5
can for
wheels.
the show.
Yeah.
But for the show, it's a lot of taping things down
And not moving as much.
making sure things are pretty much set where they need to be set, and then making sure that people are where they need to be when they need to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Umberto here saying ARC is a killer to both audio, network, and Wi-Fi if the electrical wiring isn't protected.
Yep,
That is
100%.
true. Also, Director of Success saying, I'll be watching next week. Can't wait to see my friends from Lake Country. Maybe one day I'll get an invite.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Chris will be here in May
Yeah, okay,
with the FOD APC. So the Future
a
of
whole other
Detailing
thing we got going
Advanced
on.
Paint Correction class is happening that first week of May during Cinco de Mayo. Come spend it at the Rag Company. You can go to drbeasleys.com and look on their events page to sign up and see if you want to join us here.
Yeah.
Edmund Iverson.
Yeah, Ed Iverson
Thank you.
here.
And any patience would be great, but our goal is to give you guys as seamless of a show without a hitch. I'm not promising, but I'm going to do my very best to make sure that doesn't happen. So at the end of the week, I have hair. Otherwise, I'll look like Levi.
We
You
already
need to
do
knock
look
on
like
some
me.
wood
We're
right
wearing we're literally wearing the same
You
outfit
guys
today,
are
except for our
basically
Yeah.
hats.
outfit.
We're like the same person.
Very strange.
This is the second time it's happened.
Very odd. We didn't plan this.
Let's see. Alex saying, I'll yell at some people who are out of place and immediately apologize.
Perfect, Alex. That's your job for the week. We're very
I mean,
excited to have you help
Let's
us
make
out.
it work here already.
I will say
Well,
this
Alex
too.
cleans the floor out.
Yeah,
there.
he is a key proponent to TRCMA
Yes.
because he cleans our floors and he does it so well.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
because he's
Alex.
Canadian and he knows how to drive a Zamboni. You just
true.
give him the keys,
I
set him
don't
up.
know.
He knows
From grain to
exactly what
bird.
to do.
Wow.
From grain to
That's
bird.
Yeah, it's literally, they get their Zamboni driver's license like right out the womb.
I think it's about
crazy.
3 or 4.
Alex, I'm very excited to see you this year's TRCMA, and I just finished working on your graphics, so I think you'll really enjoy it.
Nice. Dino here. For me, the worst thing is getting all channels on same volume.
If you're having a problem with that, we have a tool that Glenn doesn't like, but it's called Audio Butler, and
Audio
it levels
Butler.
audio automatically. So
Yeah,
if you're trying to edit something really
Just
fast,
make sure you double check it, because sometimes I will say this.
it does have
It's a
some
mind of its
Though
own.
it is a great tool
Yeah.
to level your audio, these guys sometimes export it, upload it to YouTube, and then when Dana and I are reviewing it, it's like la 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 la.
Yeah.
Somebody
When
can be
it
talking
works.
perfectly
Yeah.
normal, and
It's
then it
good.
just
Yeah,
blows
it
your
needs
ears
about
out.
5 pass-throughs. So the hard part is sometimes we'll be like, on a Thursday trying to get a video out for Friday or whatever it is. And
Thank you, David.
if a video is 30 minutes long, we got to go through it 5 times. So, you just, it's a lot of time. And sometimes the deadlines don't meet with what Audio Butler can do. And sometimes you just have to manually do it. But it works good though. I'd recommend it.
No,
I'm
awesome.
going to ask Nick really quick.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, do you have the schedule run through of TRCMA?
Are we putting it up there?
I don't know, like just the pictures. If not, no worries.
There we go.
All right, as always, guys, next week, Rag Company Media
Back
Access
to the
event, April
future.
3rd through the 6th, featuring the Rag Company, PNS Products, Color Lock, Yellow Tools, Rupes, Detailer's Helper, Buff Bright, Rotafest, Solution Finish, Optimum Polymer Technologies, Buff and Shine, Diamond Protect, Stiarna Gloss, Lake Country, G-Technic, Lake Country Power Tools, G-Technic Marine, IK Sprayers, The Wrap Institute, Koch Chemi, Viper Chair, Detail-Wise, Veloci, Auto Wash, Detailers Business Academy, and Flex. Make sure you tune in and watch.
Love that.
And Seabass is going to tell you to like and
Do
subscribe.
we have any other questions there, Dave?
Yeah, no, I've still got a handful of them
Yeah.
here. We're just going at a leisurely
Yeah, no,
pace.
I just wanted to, we're talking TRCMA, I
Yeah.
just wanted to kind of pop in
Oh, of course.
who all is going to be here just in case anybody missed it.
Yeah, and we'll remind them on our way out today, too.
Oh,
Heck
and
yeah.
check out the streams. They're
Yes.
live now.
Yeah, you can click
They're not
on, you can
live,
already
but they're
set up
live.
and remind yourself on
Remember,
each of
they
those
like
exist. You
and
can
you
click on
subscribe
Yep.
and you hit that bell, you'll get the notification once it does go live.
Yep.
At the very least, there's a little tab that says notify me below each one.
Yeah.
You get that. As long as you're already logged into your YouTube account, you've pretty much done all the work.
golden.
So,
And you can see who's on each day.
yeah, also true. So I got Dino here. Gabe, you're lucky I have a phone plan that gives me 100 minutes of talking to the U.S.
Okay.
You're gonna need at least
Dino,
double that.
All right.
So in all seriousness,
All 100 of those minutes are going to
Yeah.
Gabe.
now, Dino, send me an email, Gabe, G-A-B-E, at theragcompany.com. I'll give you my number, and then you can text me throughout the show. Because honestly, back in the day, before TRCMA, I used to do live streaming with all of the high school games
Sports
and activities.
programs.
Glenn was my go-to person for that, and I remember there were occasions where I weren't there, and I'd be doing the same thing with Glenn, or I'd call her, be like, audio,
Constantly.
audio.
Constantly.
So
and I'm like, dude, get here if you
that
want it.
helps me so much. So yeah, I'd appreciate that.
And Director of Success saying, woohoo, thanks for the shout out.
Of course, Chris.
Yes. Followed by Alex. Will there be a donation type situation like the coins from last year?
So,
That's actually a good question.
So in the past we have done that. This year we are never say never, but that is not in the plan at the moment.
right.
There'll be
So,
some killer sales though.
There are going to be some
which
great
we won't
sales.
disclose because we want you guys to find
Well, you guys
out.
got to go sign up
Yeah.
for the newsletter.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean, I'm not gonna blow the lead here, but
No.
you got to sign up for the newsletter. Go to theragcompany.com, scroll all the way down, or pop in and sign up right there, because you're going to learn about the product releases, sales, TRCMA, future event info. Sign up today for the details, and look at that. It even says "Take me there, Doc."
Yeah.
Sign up.
That's
So
right.
If you're not signed up, please sign up, because of the fact that you're going to get to know exactly what's going to happen this weekend
Yeah.
as that email blast hits, and you're going to get the first chance to see everything that we are going to be talking about during this week. So you'll know about what the sales is. You're going to learn about some future items. You're going to learn about a lot of great stuff, but you have to be signed up for the newsletter
Yeah.
to know what we're talking about. So.
That's true. So, who needs hair when you have badass hats, says
That's
Director
right.
of
That's why
Success.
we got
Yes.
all. You notice we've got different hats on. Literally each one of us.
Yeah.
How crazy
No,
is that?
we're all rocking something a little
Jimmy's
bit.
repping IK.
I'm unhappy.
Yeah, he's even got
Yeah.
an IK
I
hat
missed
on.
the memo.
It's okay. Well, we got David here saying, I'm out of questions, I think. Looking forward to TRCMA. I really like seeing the background folks on the lives.
Thank you, David.
No, this is a nice way to integrate these guys in here.
It's funny because I don't know about you guys, but seeing everybody, we know everybody on the chats, Humberto especially. And it's just
well, and what you guys don't know is
but we never get to converse with you guys
during the podcast, during the Q&A. We do have TVs on in the main studio in our office area, and so those are playing and the volume's up. So there'll be times where we'll start talking and we'll tell a joke, and about 5 seconds later, we'll hear them all erupt in laughter out in the main office. But it is funny because we'll know that we're hitting some spots, or someone left a comment. And the same thing, like they'll hear that and we'll hear them say, did you hear what so-and-so wrote?
Or sometimes one of us will get on and we'll chime in just to throw a little bit of gasoline.
Anyway, let's get the next question there, Dane.
Oh, no, David. Seabass will appreciate this. Seabass has the perfect look for an 80s film guy.
Seabass.
I'm also getting skinny Ron Jeremy vibes. Seabass, tell you what, just stand in front of the camera here for a moment, please. Just, there you go.
There you go.
That's perfect. Just stoic. There we go. Perfect. All right. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. All right. Next up, I got Manny Otto here. I have experience as a video director at a local church. Was in charge of 5 cameras / live streaming. Kudos to the tech team. Can't imagine how much more intense TRCMA is. Well, I mean, it all depends on perspective. But at the same time, if you're running 5 cameras and stuff, I assume you had help.
That's kudos to you.
But you're doing literally doing the Lord's work there, I guess. So good for you.
Yeah.
But
less cameras,
that's
but
great.
more sets.
Yeah, that's actually that was something I was hoping I'd get to talk about. So there's a lot of graphics, there's a lot of cameras, there's a lot of everything, and literally just setting up all the graphics, like all the lower thirds with everyone's name and all the guests, and then the comments and the stingers and all of that. Like, it was over 60 inputs, and that's a lot for one day. One day. And that's part of the stress testing that we do here is like, okay, like technically we're not supposed to run that many.
Nick popped in and just said Tuesday has 93.
Oh my God.
Yeah, for one stream.
It really is insane. It is. And for Nick's, I think during the week of TRCMA, I would say the person that has the most stressful job is Nick.
100%. I agree.
Because Nick is having to work on making sure all the inputs are working seamlessly, making sure that transitions are followed as usual or as planned, and while maintaining the show, muting mics, unmuting mics as they go in and out, and they're switching guests. And these are things that we've worked on in the past, like even in our lives where we just do a Wednesday wash and talk where Anthony and Levi will have a plan, right? And then they'll completely derail it and do something like, what are you doing? What you guys are like, oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, you love it when we go off script. They don't like it when we do that.
Yelling, like, what are you doing? But it always works out.
And that's something really
Peacock,
cool.
you gotta let me fly.
Peacock, gotta let me fly.
Literally every single time something changes, like something just changed. Every time there's a comment, I mean, Dane sends a comment, but Nick takes them away. Every time,
Important note, I can't take them away. So if you're wondering why something stays on the screen a super long time, it's either because they fell asleep back there or they just really wanted to like cover whatever's there.
It's hard, but literally every single time something happens on the stream, that is Nick right there. That's Nick right now.
Yeah, like watch this. Okay, main cam. Okay, now close up.
Okay, take away the comment.
Now Levi and Dane.
Oh,
wait for it. Oh, there we go. There, see?
Back to me.
See, he does all the time. Yeah, back to him. There we go.
All right.
But that's literally Nick. So, of course, we all do everything that we can to make the show the best possible thing. But Nick is really the one where it's like, he's the one bringing this to you. Without him, you wouldn't hear Levi's anecdotes
So Dino, we're going live 10 a.m.
Yeah,
Mountain Standard Time because I know you're in Austria.
Mountain Daylight Time.
Oh, right.
MDT. That's where we are right now.
Okay.
Europe hasn't changed their time over yet. So We are Mountain Daylight Time. So 1 hour. Oh, they switched last weekend. Nick just popped in.
Yeah.
So we are right now this time. Go back 54 minutes. That's when we're going live, Dino.
Yep.
So Dino, that clock in the top right corner, that is our current time right now. That's
So we're going
what
at
it is
10 a.m.
here
Yeah,
right now.
so the big thing
Every
with
morning.
this show too is we'll start at 10. We're gonna see how long the morning progresses. Attentively, we'll finish around noon. Attentively, because if it goes over a little bit, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I aspire to have Riz do that. Oh my gosh.
That's a great
So
comment.
basically,
See, that's
10
you have
o'clock to
fans.
noon is the morning show. We're going to have about a half hour. You guys will see a combination of commercials and waiting screen. Then what you'll see is Alex Stewart and Jamie the Cleaner giving a halftime recap of the morning show. And then there will be another half-hour gap after their show concludes where we do waiting screen / commercials, and then we'll go right into the afternoon hour or afternoon presentations. So that's kind of what you'll see. So in that period between noon and 2 o'clock, don't go away, because a half hour in you're gonna have Alex Stewart and you're gonna have Jamie the Cleaner on there. So you don't want to miss that. And you also want to be there so that way you can see all the cool commercials, because we did do a lot of really awesome interviews with other detailers who are not going to be here. So there's going to be some cool stuff in there for you guys.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty much, Dino.
So I've actually got quite a few comments. It's just I want to let you guys talk
Okay,
here.
let's hit
So
it.
yeah,
Let's go.
so let's see. We're go ahead and add these to the list. That's why I've been looking down this whole time as I've been adding stuff. So
Oh, I thought you were sleeping.
All right. Well, no, I got a job to do. Okay, so we got the time wise. Okay, Mountain Town Detail. That's Justin.
Justin will be
Mountain
here.
Town Detailing.
That's good, dude.
Bring the Toyota.
Everyone in the crew is top notch. Thank you guys for always being so welcoming. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Agreed, sir.
We're stoked to hang
Yeah,
out with you,
Justin
man.
will be here as well.
Yes.
Oh, wait, Justin.
And then we got Umberto saying, and you made sure new company products weren't shown until it was time, like you did with Sterling Glass. Yes, it is very hard to keep secrets around here, but you know, when it's a new product line or something, like we can kind of tease sometimes, but we really do try and keep it under wraps, because we've talked about this before, but it's a big part of like the testing procedure. Just because you're testing something doesn't guarantee that it's going to wind up in our lineup.
Yep.
It's the whole point of the testing, is you may find that it doesn't fit. It
Yeah,
doesn't
that's a
work
whole
for
other
us.
thing for behind the scenes that nobody, we
that's-
don't really talk about that much, but Anthony and Levi do detail out here even when it's not on camera to test product.
Or even at home.
And at home, yeah, especially at home on the weekends on their own vehicles. So if they are testing something, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be brought on, but they try their best, I think, to get the best results with the product. So
And the other thing too is, you know, we're not, Jimmy and I this summer, we just got IDA certified.
Yep.
And the big thing is we've learned a lot just watching Anthony and Levi. And if there's one thing that I know is they're goofy, they like to have fun, they're themselves in every live while educating you guys. What you guys don't see is like the seriousness that they put behind the testing time, making sure that the products are right, because ultimately they want you guys to have the best experience in the realm of detailing, whether it's a shop or if you're a hobbyist. I know that is their number one goal, is making sure that you guys are getting the best products possible. So you got to give kudos to those guys, because they do a lot of work on that.
I like Tony's comment.
very
I want to
nice
say,
comment here.
with all seriousness, that Seabass, Nick, Jimmy, Glenn, and to a lesser extent Gabe, is seriously just an amazing
Tony,
core
what does
crew.
that mean?
Not only great at what they do, but they're so kind and genuine. Really, I mean, couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tony,
I
those words
appreciate
were
you.
perfect.
What a
And he
sweet
says, I
heart.
appreciate
Wow,
you
Tony,
all.
I don't.
Very nice,
that was
Tony.
like a partial compliment.
Very
I guess,
nice.
to me.
Yeah.
Beautiful comment from the great
I mean,
Tony
it's still
Mason.
technically a compliment. I would still do
I
it.
guess.
Very
man.
nice.
Very
Very
Thank you,
nice.
Super Zoom.
Such an amazing team.
And-
Thank you all for. Thank you.
Very kind, Andre. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
No,
you.
it's really it's special to be able to show these guys, because they spend so much time working behind the scenes. You guys never really see them, you might hear their names mentioned by us a few times.
There's
here
9
and
of
there,
us in
but-
this building.
Yeah, so it's not just Levi, Anthony, and myself. That it wouldn't work that way. I mean,
And-
with a cell phone, maybe is how
and
we
if
originally
you guys
did
are
it.
wondering
But
why Anthony's
we've
not
moved past
here,
that.
we sent him to go get coffee. So
Yeah.
Did we?
Well,
yeah.
He should be good.
You did?
So so that way we're all caught up here. But yeah, no, I thought that was a nice touch. I really do appreciate all you guys. We all do, from all the team here.
Yeah.
You guys are what make our ability to do this possible. So thank you.
Well,
You guys-
and honestly, you guys allow us to, they say if you do something you love, you never work. And honestly, I'm speaking for myself, but I think based off consensus in this building, we love our job a lot, and we love providing you guys high quality, whether it's video quality or whether it's detailing products. We truly, it is our passion, and that's our drive, is to continue that. So you guys being as amazing as you are, watching all the things that we do, it really truly does mean a lot. And that's why we want to provide and do the best that we can on our end to continue that for all of you.
Yeah.
Well, and I hope you guys know, like, the stuff that you guys talk about on the podcast and the Q&As, like, if there's something funny or something that stands out, like, we're talking about that just amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sometimes stand in for Nick and, like, I'll catch up on the podcast lore, and then I'll come out here and be like, yeah, Jimmy, it's like, and he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and then I got to rewatch it.
Yeah, so, I mean, you guys are really the ones that put us in these seats.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I was going to say, for those of you wondering and wanting to see more of Sebastian,
Yes.
we do have an Easter egg planned for TRCMA that will be broadcast,
Yes.
that AB has been working on. Yesterday he was
Yes.
putting the finishing touches.
It's literally, we
Yeah.
made it
No,
over
I'm
a
not,
year
I'm
ago.
not divulging
We
it. I'm
can't.
just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, the commercial?
God, Gabe, keep your mouth quiet.
Man, I'm sorry.
Shush.
Oh, the college
Man,
highlight?
he's got no chill. So basically, I just wanted to say, you got to watch, you've got to tune in, you've got to be able to see it if you want to see more sea bass in a quite possibly a standout role.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
absolutely.
I would say he
Amazing.
nailed it. He did
Yeah.
a great job.
I was going to say, if the haircuts, the hairstyles, all that stuff look a little different, it's because we actually shot this for last year's show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
And
a
then
year in the making.
It kind of sat in the background.
Yeah.
So things may be like a little dated in it, but in a good way. So
Well, I like
yeah.
what David was saying about putting sea bass in random YouTube videos.
Exactly.
And have him just stand there with a blank stare because he's really good at it.
Well,
and then
if you go on, like, you had the stickers and stuff on
Yeah, yeah.
Instagram or Facebook, we created a Seabass sticker.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. You
It's
could
on
use
there.
them.
You literally search the Rag Company, and it's Sebastian,
Yeah.
like,
we
screaming
need an
and holding his
actual
hand.
sea bass sticker.
It's an
Like,
actual Seabass
no, a
sticker.
physical
Like a
one.
slap
Oh, we
sticker.
should make
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
shouldn't we? That's
Speaking
a good
of
idea.
Can we get Nate on
We
that?
could do that.
Speaking of stickers, next week we've got some really sweet stickers for you guys. So any
Yes.
orders that you guys buy during the week of TRCMA, holy cow, you're getting some really
Yeah, this
cool
year we did
stickers.
do some cool stuff with the
There.
TRCMA
If you
stuff.
thought the
They're
St.
so-
Patty's
we
Day
changed it up a
stickers
little
were
bit.
primo quality, these ones are right there with it. They're awesome. Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I got Ed here. If a new product is coming out, I start my research here to see what Levi, Anthony, and Dane have to say about it.
There you go.
All
very
right,
awesome.
Edmund.
Thank you. And just a couple more comments here to go. Oh, boy. Tony saying, TRCMA 2024 YouTube meme account interviews. Oh, no, that's, I mean, that's an idea. It's certainly an
That's
idea.
a great one.
Jimmy's
I don't-
already on it.
All right, Alex is off to a meeting. See you next week, beauties.
See you later,
well,
dude.
See you,
we'll
Alex.
see you.
Yeah, I'll
very
see you on
soon.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday.
And yeah, I think that wraps us up. So anything left to add from you guys before we
No, I say
wind this
let's
thing
go
down?
through. If I don't know if Nick has the daily Monday through Thursday schedule.
Sure.
We could go through those slides. If he
See if he-
doesn't, he can yell at me in my ear.
If he
So
doesn't,
far I
I
haven't heard
basically
of it.
have them
We're
memorized.
waiting if anything pops up,
he's
but if it
scrambling
doesn't,
right
then we
now.
have our
I think
answer.
I bet you.
There he
there we
goes.
go.
There we go.
Hey.
All right, so for Monday, April 3rd, TRCMA Day 1, the Rag Company, PNS, Color Lock, Yellow Tools, the Wrap Institute, and Diamond Pro Tech. That's the schedule for Day 1. Day 2, Tuesday, April 4th, is going to be G-Technic, Detail Wise, Auto Wash, IK, Detailer's Helper, and Flex. And then going on to Day 3, which is Wednesday, April 5th, Stiarnagloss, Buff Bright, Viper Chair, Buff and Shine, MTM Hydro Veloci, Detailers Business Academy for TRCMA Day 3, and finally, Thursday, Day 4, Rupes, Kosh Chemi, Solution Finish, Lake Country Power Tools, Lake Country, Optimum, and Zenware. Those are the companies and brands that are going to be promoting and talking, and we are so excited to have everybody here. And in case you guys are wondering, that was also, that little slider, that's also a little new feature that we're adding to the RAG company that is going to be coming live after TRCMA, and that is going to be our new events page and events calendar.
People have
so
asked
that
for years.
you guys can go right to the website. You'll be able to see exactly things like that, and when you click on that little piece of that little link, it'll create a pop-up, and that pop-up will give you date, time, where we are going to be as a group.
If we're going on trips and stuff too.
Any of the events that are going to be happening here at the RAG company, so that you'll be able to find out exactly where we are. So East Coast Adventure, it's going to have all the information for East Coast Adventure of where me, Dane, and Anthony, and Jimmy are going to be. You're going to be able to see if you want to sign up for any of the Avery Dennison classes or the 3M classes that we have scheduled. You'll be able to find that and be able to go right there, click on it, it'll send you to their page. So any future trainings, any of that stuff, we've been working really hard on that to get that up for you guys, just to give you more information and make you guys able to follow along.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And to answer your question, Dino, yes.
Yep, that was right on.
All right. So, everybody, if you're watching and you're still here, please go ahead, click like just below the video here. Helps us out, helps us get in front of more people, helps us build this thing, which, of course, next week, that's when all the craziness starts. So we want to see you all here. We're going to love it. You're going to love it. And just know who's working behind the cameras now, so you get what all went into this. So we love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
We
guys.
will see you tomorrow for Q&A Thursday over on the RAG Company Podcast YouTube channel. Till then, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.